Welcome back to Six Cars, everybody. I hope you are having a good day today. I hope you are enjoying all the European content. We have switched countries again. We're not in Italy anymore. We have arrived in Germany. Specifically, we're currently in Stuttgart, making a couple of very cool stops. So our first stop of the day today will be at Mechatronik, and checking out the showroom with them. We'll see some pretty amazing cars up close in detail, get as much cool content as we can there. We'll head to Motorworld Stuttgart after that, which I'm not too familiar with, but I've heard is quite the place as well, with tons of supercar storage and collector cars and dealerships, just a bit of everything. And in another video, we'll also be visiting the Porsche and Mercedes museums and seeing those incredible collections as well. More on that soon, but for now, we'll be heading to Mechatronik first. So let's hit the road, and if you guys haven't already in this European trip, remind you guys again of the magic words: subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's hit the road and head to Mechatronik in Stuttgart. Start off here with what is without a doubt by far the most expensive Veyron ever sold. This Vitesse, and when we got up close to it, is not actually chrome. It is polished aluminum. So this was made, I believe it was 21 tons of aluminium blocks was used to create this car. So there is absolutely nothing else like it. Now the story with this car is quite interesting. When the owner wanted this done, Bugatti refused it, and he essentially said, well, if you're not going to do this for me, then basically I'm going to cancel every other Bugatti I have on order with you, which was around about a dozen at the time. So Bugatti bit the bullet, and they said, okay, we'll do it. So this was the end result. You can see how insane this looks, all of the reflections on it, and even the grille has the owner's original insignia just carved right into the entire design, the KAQ collection. That is not the only place where you will see that. So the owner also has his insignia in the headrest, and also that center cap in between both of the seats there with the carbon fiber background. And also right here on the gas cap too, we have that KAQ badge, full carbon fiber back end, contrasting against this aluminium. Just looks outrageous. The side skirts also finished in carbon fiber, and as you can see here, the full red interior. There's a lot going on with this car, but my goodness, is it ever cool. Just so much history with it, as well as something that you probably thought you would never ever see, because like I said, Bugatti did not want to do it, but the owner sort of forced their hand, and now here it is. This is the KAQ aluminium Veyron Vitesse, and I will show you guys inside very quickly as we open the door on this Veyron. It's a very, I would say, simplistic interior, which is kind of nice, to be honest. You don't need a bunch of fancy screens on the Veyron. I think this simple design really works. And there's a closer look, as I was mentioning, with the KAQ insignia on the headrests and just between the seats there on that center cap. Very interesting. And you can see on the side here, we also have the designation that this is a one-of-one Vitesse. And again, you can see the aluminium work here is just outrageous. Can't even imagine how long it would have taken them to do something like this, but it's just phenomenal. The end result definitely worked. We'll close the door. My goodness, that is such a special car. In front to back here, we have the road and the track version of the Valkyrie. We'll start off with the AMR Pro, and it's always cool to see these two cars together because you can see how different it is from the road car, all of the extra aero, things that obviously could never work on the street. I mean, the front diffuser, the front lip is just so extreme. On this particular car, I really like the gold accents just around the edges of the carbon fiber against that green as well. Sort of like a classic look that you would see on the old Aston Martin DBR9 GT1 race cars. And what's interesting is the gold goes all the way through these aggressive side fins, over the shark fin at the back, and the rear wing as well. And then down here, this is probably my favorite part of this car. It's just so extreme. All of the air running through. You can see the exposed suspension linkage all finished in carbon fiber too. This is just such a ridiculous car. Something that is so cool to see up in person. Doesn't matter how many times you would see a Valkyrie, you can always find different little details on, because there's just so much going on. this exposed back end too. Got the Formula One lights, or the Formula One style light there, the exhaust, the cut-up diffuser. You can see just how much downforce is created underneath the car as well. There's ground effects. There's a massive rear wing, so it's generating downforce from the top and the bottom. Every single angle of this car is basically fully functional and serves an absolute purpose. And this rear taillight design, sort of reminiscent of the Vulcan as well. And the rear wing on the race car, or the Valkyrie AMR Pro, obviously way different. And let's take a quick peek inside the AMR Pro. I mean, the tiny little door is so funny because it's actually quite a rather large car, especially the AMR Pro. You can see inside here with the cockpit, it is a full-on race car. This is absolutely ridiculously cool. These bucket seats, very, very hard to get in and out of. As you can see, it's very reminiscent of a Le Mans prototype, which is sort of fitting because, as you guys know, if you watch WEC, Valkyrie has actually gone racing in the hypercar class too. So this is just insane, guys. Absolutely remarkable. It almost looks like the seat is fully built into the carbon fiber tub, the way it's just shoved into the back like that. And there's all of your gadgets and the buttons on the steering wheel to work the car. This is just remarkable. There's obviously not much else going on here because this is the track-only car, like I said. But it's so loud and so noisy and so mechanical. You have to, well, if you're on the track, in this sense, wearing a helmet in the road car, you do get that headset to block all of the noise. It's pretty outrageous. And here is the road car, the Valkyrie. So probably the most extreme, I would say, of all of the current modern hypercar offerings. We already saw the back end of the AMR Pro is so outrageous, and even the road car has a lot of the same styling. So back here, like I pointed out, the entire back end with this massive rear diffuser exposing the entire back end. And this one clearly doesn't have the same aggressive rear wing as the AMR Pro. This one is a much sleeker design on the road car. Of course, a lot more regulations you have to meet, but even the fact that they got this legal for the road in this day and age is pretty remarkable. Unfortunately, in North America, it's not fully street legal unless you have like a show and display or something like that. A big problem with that is obviously no side mirrors. It does have the cameras down here in place of that, but either way, we are in Europe. This is where it is street legal. And my goodness, like I said, every angle on this car is just remarkable. It never ever gets old. So many intricate designs that you can find, little nitbits and things, but every time you see this car, there's always a new thing to find. It is just so freaking cool, guys. Can't even tell you how special this is. And now to take a look at the interior on the road car, you can obviously see quite a difference between this road version and the AMR Pro. There is the cameras for the side mirrors there, so you can see the screens. Obviously, you just got a small screen there for all of your driving capabilities, something that we don't have in the AMR Pro. Obviously, no need for that. A lot less buttons on the road-going version as well. And you can see, obviously, different seats. You have a little bit more room in the road car, but not very much. You can see the headrest is almost basically near the top of the door sill, so you essentially have to be like the size of a Formula One driver if you're going to fit into this car. And down here, we also have the designation number 84 of 150, so obviously a very rare and very special car. And this is the one that does come with the headset, as I mentioned before, because it's so raw and so mechanical, it's so noisy. You basically have to wear that or else you will not be able to hear anything else, but just adds to the whole crazy experience of the Aston Martin Valkyrie. And just over on this side, we have a nice 300 SL. I feel like we've seen a few of these in the recent week, but again, it never gets old. One of the greatest looking cars ever built. Of course, it was the fastest in the world at the time that it was released. Iconic with the gull-wing doors. This is a very original spec too. Silver, the red interior with the white steering wheel, white shifter. And the interesting thing back here is you have the matching red luggage to go with the interior. Something that is just so unbelievably cool and really adds to the effect of this car. I mean, look at that, guys. The silhouette on this will never get old. There's a reason why they are so valuable in this day and age, and a reason why its newer counterpart, the SLS, is also going up in value too. And the final two cars here of the six-pack in the showroom, obviously we have the 150 MC12, which is so iconic. We've seen a couple of them on the channel so far, but I feel like we've never actually been able to get up close because it's usually at events where it's very crowded, and yeah, it's hard to really get a close look at them. But if you guys didn't know, obviously it's built on the same chassis as the Enzo, which is pretty remarkable because it is so much bigger than a Ferrari Enzo. There is a lot more going on with the design too. It's a lot more complicated, so might not be for everybody, but I think it is so special. I mean, all of the aerodynamics here, you can see just the louvers and these massive vents in the hood. So damn cool. And this is obviously the iconic livery. There are a few that are in different paint schemes, but pretty much all of them you will see are in this white and blue two-tone. But like I said, so much air going on with it. The roof snorkel, if you guys have seen some of my videos, I pretty much point that out on every car that has a roof snorkel. It's one of my favorite details on any car. You got the massive rear wing at the back too, but which is actually quite huge. It hangs over the sides. It's a very interesting design because the edges are actually just a tiny bit wider than the actual bodywork of the car. And again, at the back, it really just looks like a full-blown race car. They did race this in GT1 back in the day too. So yes, it has obviously tons of race car elements. It's wild to see something like this on the road. That entire rear diffuser, the cut up back end, it's actually quite similar to the Valkyrie as well. And of course, like the other cars, you will take a look inside the interior too. So take a look inside the MC12 here. Yes, it's a very simplistic interior here as well, which I think when you're getting a car like this is really all you need. You don't need too many fancy screens or buttons or anything like that. It's all about the driving experience. And from what I've heard, the MC12 is pretty nuts to drive. But yes, as you can see, just paddle shifters on this car, just a few buttons in the center, and obviously the seats with the racing harnesses. Pretty much all you're going to get in the MC12 and all you really need as well. And not too much room in the center, which is why the handbrake is down here just beside to the left of the driver inside the door sill. So again, really cool to get up close and personal with a car so special like the MC12. And the last car, of course, is the Porsche 959, which, it's like the 300 SL, was the fastest car in the world at the time when it did come out. Very understated compared to some of the other hypercars from the era. Most people, I think, if you're not a real enthusiast, might not even look twice at a 959, but it is so special. Clearly, you could tell this is not a 911. It's not your standard Porsche. It's so much wider, so much thicker. There's a lot more going on with it, and it is bloody fast. It is quite the experience. Of course, we will look inside this one too. So we pop open the door. It does have a very period correct, like late 930s style interior, so it's not too much different in that sense. And while you can definitely get like a classic smell when you open this car too. The interesting thing about this though is, unlike all the other cars you've looked at, there is back seats, which is quite interesting to see what I would consider a hypercar have back seats. This could be the only one ever to do that, really. But yes, quite simple interior, which I do like. So after our stop, checking out those amazing cars in the Mechatronik showroom, we are making another quick pit stop. You can see behind me the V8 Star Hotel. Obviously very car themed here, but we're going to go into a place called Motorworld here in Stuttgart. Now, it's my understanding they have Motorworlds all over the place here in Germany. Each one is a bit different, but they all have showrooms. You can buy cars, there's service centers, there's storage, there's merchandise shops, a bit of everything. So can't wait to turn the camera around and go see what we can find in this very car-centric area of Stuttgart. Inside this room here, it's all Lamborghinis. Look, it's white on red LP640. There's a Diablo over here. Look at that. You see a brand new Countach back there as well. We've seen a few of those recently. Aventadors. There is a black Gallardo. There we go. Black Gallardo Valentino Balboni back there too. But a good little spot from Drive with Roy there. Inside, no paddles. Manual LP640. Let's go. Here's the Diablo there. This little Aventador S. And yeah, there's that new Countach we saw from further back, finished in white. It looks like there's a bunch of orange accents in the interior. It's kind of nice. Black SVJ with green brakes and full green accents throughout the interior. But take a look at the Revuelto back here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is SE30 purple, so really cool. I have not seen one in that color yet. You can't really go wrong with SE30 purple on any Lamborghini. It's just a fantastic looking color. And we have a Countach back there as well. Looks like it might be a 25th anniversary as well. And here is the full official, I guess, storage side of the building. Again, this is just a really interesting, and I don't even know how to describe this place. It's just a bit of everything in here. I mean, look, we've got this, like, I don't even know, I guess it'd be a rally car, old Mercedes here, Rally Monte Carlo, 812, 355 back there. Lots and lots of strange stuff in here. And if we climb the stairs, the PTS 992 GT3 RS, but wait for it. Oh, undercovers, 2 AMG 1s. Love to know what specs they are. Unfortunately, we can't see them, but either way, we do have proof. There are 2 AMG 1s on the lifts here. So yeah, we have just a casual giant fighter jet hanging from the ceiling. You can buy cars, you can service cars here. We've got like this Vantage actually. Look at the paint on this. It's like gray, black, and green all together. So I don't even know what color that is or how long it would take to create that paint. More storage over here. We got the Heritage Spec 911 Speedster, 996 GT 3 RSR. That looks like a tribute to the art car that raced for Flying Lizard Motorsports back at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I think theirs was actually a 997. This one's a 996. Either way, though, super cool. A nice little tribute there. We've got a Mercedes DTM car there as well. We got a Guards Red Carrera GT hiding up there. We've got a C63 Black Series. Looks like an AMG GT Black Series up on that lift as well. We've got the car elevator to bring the cars up to the second level of storage. And if we look over here, another whole row of cars. And look at that. Another Carrera GT. Very cool. Like I said, easily one of the most interesting places that I have seen in my life. There's even like merchandise stores. We can buy like different car themed shirts and things like that. I think there's like motorcycle stuff. There's a restaurant, like I said, cafe, car dealerships. This is just really interesting, and not really sure what else to make of it, guys. This is just one of the coolest car places I've seen in my life. And just in the public parking lot here at Motorworld in Stuttgart is this really bizarre Chinese electric car. It's Hi-Fi Z. Don't really know too much about it. I think we basically just looked this car up on the spot. It's so strange looking. It sort of has like GTR headlights. If you remember the concept of the R35, it sort of looks like the GTR proto lights actually. It's got LiDAR sensors on the roof there. It's very cyberpunk looking. It's quite strange. Apparently it's got like 660 horsepower though, and it's got giant Brembo brakes on it. So the more you know, guys. We're learning new cars as we speak here on the channel. That is apparently the Hi-Fi Z from China, only available in Germany and Norway. Thanks YYZ Curator for that fast fact. A bit of McLaren action down here. Looks like a bit of a storage, but look at this 720S here. Clearly some kind of an MSO spec because the paint is wild. It's black, and then you can see all of these red accents, and some of it actually fades from red into the black. It's got the painted headlight inserts, which is a pretty rare option, and then even down the side you can see in the door inserts there fades from red to black, and just the red stripes around the wheels too. A really bizarre and kind of cool spec, I gotta say. And there's a pretty rare 620R there as well, essentially the road going version of a 570S GT4. Can't remember exactly how many are made. Those are extremely rare too, so tons of secrets here hiding in the most random place ever, Motorworld. But man, such a cool building, I gotta say. Yeah, so not a bad little stop here in Stuttgart, guys. Going with the theme of the channel, 6 cars in that building, and all of them pretty damn spectacular. Why was he curator? Good?
Very good.
Drive with Roy? Good?
Not bad.
Let's go. That was awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Got a pretty like in-depth look at those cars, and most of those you know, it's incredibly special to see one of them. To get them in that much detail is quite the experience, and something I hope you guys enjoyed seeing in and around the cars, inside the interiors as well, and some of the crazy stories with one particular car. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we have a bit more Stuttgart content coming up as well with Mercedes and Porsche tours. So stick around for that. We'll see you next time on 6 Cars.